everybody and welcome back to Online Cookery.
Hi, today we're making minestrone soup, and to go alongside that we're making some cheese scones as well. And this is all you need for minestrone soup. It's lovely and filling because you've got beans and you're adding small pasta as well.
Yeah, and if you want to make it vegetarian, all you need to do is leave out the bacon.
Great, let's get started.
For the minestrone soup, you will need bacon, small pasta, 1 onion, oil, 1 leek, 2 carrots, 2 vegetable stock cubes, cannellini beans and tomato passata.
I'm going to start by preparing the vegetables. For a soup, it's really important that the vegetables are chopped nice and finely, partly so that they cook in the time allocated, but also so that you're not eating very big chunks of vegetables in the soup. So first of all, the onion, which I'm going to peel and chop finely. And then with the leek, you want to chop both ends off, cut it about there, and take the outer part off. Do make sure with the leek that it's really well washed and there are no pieces of grit. Then you want to halve it lengthways and chop it into very fine pieces. And with the carrots, it's particularly important to make sure that they're chopped into very nice small pieces. So I've added about a tablespoon of oil into a large saucepan, and now I'm going to add the carrots and the onions. Give them a good stir round to coat them in the oil, and then simply pop the lid on the saucepan, turn the heat down and leave them to cook for about 10 minutes. Just keep an eye on them and give them a stir from time to time so they don't stick on the bottom. I've prepared a litre of vegetable stock using 2 stock cubes and boiling water, which I'm now going to add. And the passata as well. A nice addition is to use passata with garlic if you like. Now I'm going to leave that to simmer for about 10 minutes and prepare the bacon while it simmers. For the bacon, I'm simply going to cut off visible fat and cut it into small pieces. Do just remember to wash your hands well after handling raw meat. And then I'm going to fry it until it's cooked through and ready to add to the soup. You want the pieces to be not too huge. Now I'm going to add the bacon to the soup mixture. Then I've drained and rinsed a can of cannellini beans. You could use other beans if you prefer, a can of baked beans if you rinse them. And then some small pasta. I've got 125 grams here. You could equally use spaghetti, which you break into small pieces. And then leave that for a further 10 minutes while the pasta cooks through. Keep an eye on the mixture, add a little bit more boiling water if you need to. And finally, I'm going to add the leeks. And that's going to simmer for another 5 minutes or so, and then it's ready to serve.
For the cheese scones, you will need self-raising flour, salt, 1 egg, cheese, margarine and some milk.
For the cheese scones, I've got 300 grams of self-raising flour, a little pinch of salt, and 75 grams of margarine, which I've taken straight from the fridge so that it's easier to work with. Now I'm going to do what's called rubbing in, which means using my fingertips to rub the margarine into the flour. It's important that you don't squidge it together. Scones don't take kindly to being handled in that way, and you'll end up with a bit of a hard brick if you do it that way. So keep the fat in your fingertips and raise it up like that, and you want to do that until the whole of mixture looks like breadcrumbs. Now the margarine is all well mixed in, I'm going to add the cheese. I've got about 120 grams of grated mature cheddar here. Give that a good mix round, and then you're ready to bind it all together with the milk. I've got 200 millilitres of milk. You might not need all of that amount, so go steady and just add it a little bit at a time because you don't want the mixture to be too sticky. That's about the consistency you need, and now we're ready to roll them out. Scones cook in a really hot oven, so I've already put the oven on. It's 220 degrees, 200 if it's a fan oven or gas mark 7. So now I'm going to roll the scones out. I'm just going to flour the board so they don't stick. And I'm not actually using a rolling pin, you can just use your hands, or if you prefer, you can roll it out with a rolling pin. Very important that you don't overhandle the scone mixture, otherwise it will go hard. And the other thing is not to make it too thin, otherwise you'll get a rather flat, unrisen scone. Pat it out. And then I'm just stamping out rounds with the cutter. If you don't have a cutter, then you can just use a knife and make triangle shapes. I've got some beaten egg, which I'm going to brush over the tops. You could also use milk. And then I'm going to place them in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes until they're well risen and a beautiful golden colour.